Hi guys, so I know that some of you might be aware that we actually help women to prepare for IVFs and to be able to have a successful IVF. And what we do, or how we do it, is that we usually have what we call an IVF coaching. So an IVF coaching is a kind of consultation one-on-one where I sit down with the woman, understand her as an individual, and then recommend herbal support apart from other forms of support like advice, dietary advice, telling them what supplements to use, and so on. Now remember, I said that this is more like a personalized consultation, because really we do not have an IVF coaching for everybody that is the same. So there are typically variations in the coaching depending on the woman's unique makeup, because not everybody is the same. Not everybody has the same issues when it comes to fertility. There is such wide variation that is why we do things that are personalized treatments. All right, so what I want to do is to show you one product. This is the first time I'm actually offering this product, because this is the first time I'm having a client who has something called poor ovarian response. So typically in IVF, what they do, or what the goal of IVF is to get you to ovulate or bring out a lot of eggs so that they can harvest, fertilize, form embryos for you, which are potential children. So you can either freeze down the embryos or use the embryos. Now there are the way this is done, they actually do this IVF thing, or rather inducing the ovaries to produce a lot of eggs by giving you certain hormones that will stimulate your ovaries to hyper-ovulate. So typically a woman would ovulate once a month during her ovulation period. Usually one egg is released, or two, or sometimes 3 eggs. All right, there are situations where a woman will release more than 1 egg. But in the case of IVF, what they are doing is they are giving you hormones to make you release more eggs than you will normally release in your normal menstrual cycle. So those hormones are typically very, very high doses of a particular hormone called follicle stimulating hormone, which is the follicle stimulating hormone. We have that naturally in our body that helps us ovulate naturally. But in the case of IVF, they give you extremely high doses, in fact mega doses, to make your ovaries, to stimulate your ovaries to produce a lot of eggs. Now, for the very first time, even though of course I've read literature and I've read the theory and I've seen case studies, I've read case studies of such women, but for the very first time, we had a woman who had IVF coaching with me who had something called poor ovarian response. What that means is that all the injections that they would typically give a woman that will make her ovaries produce a lot of eggs, in this particular woman, her ovaries are not responding. So that is what they call poor ovarian response to stimulation. Stimulation is that injection that stimulates the ovaries to produce a lot of eggs. You understand? Now, for women who have poor ovarian response, it's a big problem, because what happens in their case is that she goes for the IVF cycle, she's taking the injections, and nothing is happening. Where her ovaries are supposed to be bringing out multiple eggs, they are not bringing out anything. In some cases just one, in some cases none at all. And it's not as if the woman has entered menopause. There are young women that also have poor ovarian response. Okay, so basically it is a thing to have women that do not respond. So this particular client has had an IVF cycle that failed. Why? It failed because she had poor ovarian response, and she's the first person that I have ever worked with that actually has that. So what I did was I made a particular extract for her. So this is the extract that I made for her, and this is fennel seed extract. Fennel seed extract is a herbal preparation that has been shown to help women that have poor ovarian response. So what she's actually going to do is she's going to actually have to take the fennel seed extract 2 months prior to her IVF, and also during the IVF cycle. So she's going to take it during the IVF cycle, and from 2 months before, and during the IVF cycle, and this will improve her ovarian response significantly. There are studies that have shown that it does this. Now I'm I get very pleased when I come across cases that are not the regular or the norm. You understand what I mean? That, you know, I get happy. I'm happy because I see it as a challenge, because I am challenged to look for a solution for that problem. You get? And that's why I'm very happy she came to me, and I want to see this IVF succeed. In fact, what I want to see is when she goes for the IVF cycle and they are giving her the injections for stimulation, her ovaries are going to produce a lot of follicles, and I want the doctors to be very surprised and not realize what is going on and start asking questions. And when they ask questions, we tell them that this is what she used. So I am looking forward to this client's review on this product. So this is 500 mils. So a month's supply is actually 3 liters. So I made 6 bottles of this for her. So she's going to take 100 mils of this every day, 2 months prior and during the IVF process. And I'm going to be very, very happy when she finishes her IVF and it is a resounding success. It gives me joy. The kind of joy this gives me is simply indescribable. And I can't wait to share it with you people.